You are not competent enough for regular college math. Hey y'all, assalamu alaikum, it's Alia here. It's the second or third week of Ramadan, and I'll be honest, it is a rough one for me. And excuse the goggle face, I've been in lab for like 4 hours, so I might have I'm tired. SubhanAllah, this specific Ramadan, strangely enough, has been getting harder for me. I feel like I'm being tested both physically and emotionally. It's why I haven't been able to really update y'all as often as I do. So I figure every week and a half throughout Ramadan is good. I hope, inshallah, even though I'm not able to put up study sessions with y'all, just know that I'm studying and y'all are with me in spirit, and I'm there with you in spirit. We are so close to the end. With that being said, though, I fell short a bit this past week. I mean, I had some negative energy that came my way, that revisited me from somewhere, and that was kind of triggering for me. So I had to kind of push that out and not allow that energy to be absorbed. Push through, alhamdulillah, through the mercy of Allah. Then, when I say Allah is so merciful and that He just has things so perfectly and poetically written for our paths, when I let go and showed Allah my devotion to Him during that time, I was invited to be a part of the honors program for my school. And that's a big deal. That's something to celebrate. Like, alhamdulillah, I was really proud of myself and I was super excited. I was excited to tell y'all this is the fuel I need to just keep going to the end. To get that validation from my school is just, it's very encouraging. That excitement didn't last too long when I went to advising because I was dealing with some errors when trying to register for the fall semester. Putting it out there because I find strength in transparency. I have told myself all these years that I suck at math, okay? I don't suck at math, I'm scared of math. And in taking the assessment that I needed in order to come back to school, because it's been so long, I did not do well in the assessment for math, and they said I needed to take a developmental course alongside a college algebra course. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not gonna be ashamed of it either, right? I was speaking to an advisor that I hadn't dealt with because mine was unavailable, who I love and adore. I'm literally making kirshale for her this week because she has been such a positive guiding light. Very grateful for her. She was not available. So I went to someone else who seemed very dismissive, very impatient with me and my lack of knowledge in this process, like online registering and whatever it is that I wasn't getting. I wasn't understanding that you needed to be in a specific regular college algebra course that was dedicated to a developmental course. I didn't know that, so I kept on insisting on wanting to be with a specific professor. Not only did he like reach his wit's end to where he made me feel stupid, that one, I overlooked that chemistry, which I took biology this semester, I wanted to take chemistry next semester. I didn't know, I overlooked that math was a requirement for chemistry. I'm like, okay, my bad. I'll push back chemistry and I'll rearrange my plan, my 2-year plan. And then when I revisited the math conversation and I wasn't it just wouldn't click what he was trying to explain to me, he popped off. Keep in mind, because it's COVID, his office door was not closed and I had to stand in the doorway throughout this whole conversation. So it was heard by everyone and anyone in the office that was either sitting around or walking that, okay, let me break it down for you. You are not competent enough for regular college math, college algebra. You did not pass or do well in the assessment for college algebra. You have to take a developmental course. That professor you're insisting on, only teaches those who are competent in college level math. You cannot register for the class meant for those competent in college level math. Like I'm saying this in a calm manner compared to his. I was so shocked, and there were other things that he was doing that was building up to it that I just don't want to go really deep into, but that was the breaking point that I was like, I knew some of the people that were sitting around, and I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed about my math level that he was saying I was incompetent in. I was embarrassed that I thought I was eligible for chemistry, and I'm not yet. Inshallah, I will be. And I was embarrassed for the way that he was speaking to me. I was shocked in the way that he was speaking to me. Went in twice, and that happened in the second visit. I told myself walking into the office from the library, I told myself, I made dua that I was like, Allah, please cleanse my heart of pride and ego. Please do not let me lose my composure. Please don't let me lose my fast. And please provide me your strength. That's all I asked for from Allah. Alhamdulillah, I did not lose my composure, but I took a beating. Could barely make it out the office. By the time I ran out the building, I just started sobbing. Like, I was sobbing. And the first thing I remember thinking is, and it was like quick. All I thought was, I have such a long road ahead of me. I cannot let someone like that be able to impact my peace so easily. How am I reacting this badly in it? So I just knew that there were things that I needed to revisit with myself. Like, this is deeper than him just putting me down and humiliating me like that and being so unprofessional and inappropriate on every level. I addressed that formally with the school, so alhamdulillah, that's taken care of. But put aside the formalities of that, I was disappointed in myself. Why? Not just by the way I reacted, because I let him get in. In 1 week, I went from being invited to the honors program to missing a class, missing an exam that I thought was due by midnight, and it was actually due at noon. I'm about to drop like a letter grade and a half, not in biology. So I missed a discussion. I didn't even know that discussion existed. I just dropped the ball. I dropped the ball like it was an ugly fall, y'all. This week was an ugly fall. But I just told myself, I'm just gonna put my faith in Allah, and I'm gonna trust the process. You don't always have to know what Allah has planned for you. You don't need to know the blessings that come in the future, because in hindsight, when they do happen, you say, oh, that's why this and this happened. So I always try to have that blind faith with Allah, that I'm like, I trust this process. Like, this is all happening for a reason. But for the life of me, I could not figure out what the positive perspective was. And I usually can find it in any situation. I couldn't. And I was just so down. I was so flustered. I couldn't focus. And at one point I was like, oh, it's because I'm fasting. But I'm like, I'm not going to blame fasting on why my brain is jello this week. Like, I had nothing in order. And I just kept sleeping. I messed this up. I let this get weak. So I do talk about being forgiving with yourself in your path and journey. But this week has woken me up, and what I believe in really reflecting after all this. This is a big lesson to be learned. And this is Allah's way of saying, you know what? You got to have thick skin. When it really counts later on, a lot of crap's going to happen. This guy is not going to be the first person that's going to want to break me down. He wasn't the first. He's not going to be the last. I can't keep coming to these amazing realizations and living this great growth mindset, and with a little gust of wind, I crumble. It can't be like this, and I need thicker skin. I'm this boss ass when it comes to working, like in the airlines, and never let anyone step on me or put my dignity down. Just because it's my education, I start to feel inferior. I start to feel less than. Why, Alia? When we respond in these ways, we have to really ask ourselves, why am I reacting like this? It's not just about that guy. That guy's gonna come and go. That person is insignificant to me and irrelevant to my path. But why did that bother me so much? I have to dig deep within myself, and I have to open up some dark places and rid myself of them. And that takes effort. That takes revisiting pain. That takes being honest with myself about who I was, who I am, and who I want to be. And that's not easy, but you have to do it. I have to do it. And so I have to ask myself, like, I would never let this happen anywhere else. Why here? Why was that okay? It was not because he was that scary to me. It was because a part of me believed that I was inferior. A part of me believed those words that I was incompetent and not good enough for these classes. Because if I didn't believe that, I wouldn't have let it affect my classes for the week. I wouldn't have questioned everything I'm doing like I allowed it to do. So it's not about that person. It's not about that external source of negativity. It's from within. Because that ignited something that already existed within myself. And I can't be a victim right now. I can't be a victim throughout this whole process. I already was. And now I'm, alhamdulillah, at a place where it's time to have thick skin again and make sure that I will never, ever let anyone ever put me down again or ever get in my head or think that they can take this path away from me. I gotta work on this. Like, I have to make sure that a gust of negative wind is not gonna make me crumble. And that means strengthening myself physically, mentally, and spiritually. And there's just a new dialogue that I need to have. And I think during this summer, there's gonna be a lot of mental strengthening that needs to take place. And I just need to be honest with myself and put all that stuff out there. Like with college algebra, I need to take developmental math. I am not at the level to take college level math. I'm just putting it out there. I have to put it out there because I need to get over whatever inferiority I feel because of it. And okay, sucks, I can't take chemistry, but I'm gonna take it the following semester. Right after I do well in math, I'm gonna do chemistry the following semester. Like khalas Alia, enough. Like, I can't coddle myself anymore. I have been forgiving with myself. And some of y'all still need to be more forgiving with yourself. But I'm just sharing in my path right now. I grew up in sports. I grew up as an athlete. I did the catering to myself. Now it's time for the tough love. Like, I need that. For me personally, it's time. Because that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable that I already had someone break my spirit years ago and finally made it back to school. I cannot, at the first sight of negativity, crumble. So inshallah, this helps anyone out in terms of strengthening your mind and not allowing any BS to get in the way of what it is that you want to do. You just got to do it. It's just time to kick ass. Okay? I need to get home now. Love y'all.